You got a meeting coming up.
It's my reminder for Masterminds.
Gotcha. The oh shit reminder.
But uh,
How you been?
uh, oh, I've been okay. It's At what age do you think the average person becomes set in their ways and they just start coasting in their life? They just have their established routine. They show up, they clock out with everything, and they just repeat it every day or every week versus being
36.
spontaneous. 36. Yeah,
I think
I
it's
think
right
I'm a
before
late.
midlife. Oh, go ahead.
Uh, I think I'm a late bloomer for everything. But I know I'm just starting to realize that I'm behaving more and more like a grandfather. Like everything is like, you know how like a dog is a almost a perfect specimen of habit. Like you have to put them in a routine.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like a dog, right? I guess that I guess the phrase "you can't teach a old dog new tricks." Yeah, I guess there's some truth to that. So why am I messing with the mouse and I have a trackpad that I don't know. I got too many computers on my table.
Yeah, no,
How's everything with you?
oh, I don't know. Kind of a crappy week, sort of. It was okay.
Uh-oh.
Weekend was good, but last Friday I think I had my final moment of the like, and it's been a long period, but the final moment of the honeymoon period with my new gig. So now it's just normal, back to normal stuff.
Okay.
So it's like what, a year and 7 months or something like that, which is probably like the longest streak I've ever had for something. But something set me off, and I'm
As
like,
in being engaged?
no, the honeymoon period with a company after you start a new
Yeah.
gig. There's yeah,
Yeah. So being like engaged and I assume when you say honeymoon period, like being engaged and being
yeah,
excited about what you're doing.
yeah. Just to kind of like a certain extreme. Like I'm still excited about things, but just like there's like a it was like a fuck moment. Like, damn it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just kind of like that. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope, maybe it's just a small bump, but the first time that I've encountered something where I just was like disappointed, very disappointed. So
Yeah. Same thing with me. And the crazy part is you have to live with it,
yeah,
right?
yep.
Until you part ways with that organization, you have to live with the consequences of that decision. And I'm sure it was a trade off.
Hmm.
You just feel like there is probably a better option.
Yeah, yeah.
My
There.
my my issue is I I think long term about the decisions that we make today, and I have a very difficult time communicating that so that other people that have influence over the project um, can appreciate, like, what about 24 months from now? What about 36 months? How does this impact the organization? I understand that this decision is about the actual like system, but based on Conway's law, like, does this make it harder? Does this decrease the throughput of the organization? Does this create a lot more dependencies on other teams, other people? Like it's not just a technical decision. There's side effects. There's consequences on the
Hmm.
human side as well. But I feel like I fail to communicate that. So,
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like whenever these things happen, it's like, did I do enough? What should I have done different or whatever? But for me, it's more about
yeah.
certain autonomy, lack of autonomy over certain things. Like I get that, you know, um, I get teams that are like, there's always interdependency between teams, right? But those should be very loose coupling, and like the ability to create a like core feature in one area shouldn't be dependent on like someone from another area necessarily. Um, and even if there is a dependency, you can always mock it or fake it at the boundary, right? And just put in a placeholder or something like that to achieve the same thing, but not when the team and your team stuff are so tightly interwound in terms of being able to deliver feature capabilities that like there's just no good way to do it unless you introduce a new boundary that doesn't exist to, between you and them, and kind of like be disingenuous about it and produce a whole bunch of duplicate architecture. So it's, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get too into specifics, but I don't know. It's first week in a while where I've thought about like, I wonder what I could build for
Either my
myself.
connection's off or your
Oh,
connection.
maybe it's my connection. Let me try this.
Um, Let me check my task manager and see if there's any flags.
Hmm.
Well,
You're
my
better
stuff
now?
says 100% CPU. Mine says 100% CPU utilization, so I think it's mine.
Okay.
Can
What's
you hear me
causing?
okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. All right.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm at.
Microsoft Software Protection Platform Service, WSAPPX,
Oh,
Microsoft Windows Malicious Software Removal Tool. Those are those three items alone take up a third of my CPU.
yeah. Sounds about right.
No,
But
it's
yeah,
back
like,
to 50% now. All right.
but like I was saying, I was like, this first week in a long, long time where I sat down, I thought like, what kind of product I could build or service I could build, or like what problems out there I could
Beach
try to solve.
delivery.
Yeah, that did go through my mind. I'm like, maybe I could help. No, I don't want to do beach delivery. There's not enough beaches around here. Snowmobile, maybe snowmobile delivery. I don't know. But fish house delivery, lake delivery. We're the Uber of lakes for 2 months, 3 months out of the year in the summer, and 2 months out of the year in the winter. So when the lakes are habitable.
you, you, you know what you should put on your bucket list? The the 7 mile run on 7 Mile Bridge.
7 mile run, seven
That's
mile
in
bridge.
the yeah. So there's like a annual run on the 7 Mile Bridge in the Florida Keys. You should put that on your bucket list. Then I could join that with you.
7 mile run in the 7 mile bridge. Key West events. How many people do it? Probably lots. It seems like it'd be a
You're
really
pretty
cool event.
much I haven't Googled it. I was watching a documentary on the history of the 7 Mile Bridge and when it was conceived and developed and stuff like that. And that's when I learned that there's actual like an annual run on it.
Trying to look at their website, but it's coming up really
I
slowly.
usually yeah, that's the bridge where like when I'm driving, I gun it. Like I top off how fast I can go because I know that there's no cops on the bridge, and it's extremely unlikely that there's no helicopters either.
Mm-hmm. It looks like a pretty big event. We got lots of people. Let's see. Facts. Frequently asked questions. Boy, their website's super slow though. I'm guessing it's a .NET website that's really old. That has to take like 5 minutes to spin up when it's on ISS.
I'm looking at the images now, and it looks well supported.
It's run from west to east. So Sunshine Quayside to Marathon side, whatever that means. Hmm.
And I bet you there's still people that walk it.
Yeah. Oh God, that was kind of. So I
That
had
block
actually.
everybody else from trying to make progress.
I had 2 runs this weekend. So I did a 5K, which I did pretty good time. Like I beat my last year's time, it was good. Then I went to and um, floated the river, and then my brother-in-law's birthday party, and we were up till like 2 a.m. Having drinks and everything. And then I got up and was gonna run the 10K on Sunday, and it was extremely hot. So I booked it, and I was good until like mile 2 when the tree cover kind of goes away and it's just open and the sun was beating down on me, and I'm like, nope, I can't do this. So I started walking, and then I'd jog every once in a while, but just walk. And then we got more shade, and I jogged, and I'd just walk, and eventually I'm just like, I'm not gonna kill myself because it's too hot. And I was the last one to finish. So I was like, crap. There's more people last year, I
Oh
swear that.
wow.
Yeah. But it was a smaller event. I think there were more people last year, so I was a little surprised when there weren't more people coming around on
What?
the 10K. So, but yeah, I don't know. It was
Oh, I'm res-
good.
I'm crap. Why is my thing weird? I'm responding to Epic Blogs comment. I'm like, what is Google Carbon? Apparently, it's a language experimental replacement for C++. Is this your first time hearing about it too?
An experimental replacement for C++ a day ago. Google Carbon. I haven't heard of it. I don't know that you could replace C++,
I thought that was
but
Rust.
well, yeah, Rust has been pretty much a
I guess it's meant
replacement for C.
to compete with Rust.
C++ to C sharp. Geez, do you know
I
it goes
don't.
from C to C++ to C sharp? They couldn't like C sharp should end with. They need like a C named like functional language, completely functional. Like
C smooth.
it looks like
Frustrated
another
by the slow evolution
programming
of C++.
language.
Google engineers have launched a new experimental open source program called Carbon as a possible successor to the venerable but aging C++. Just as Microsoft built TypeScript to update JavaScript, the Kotlin was created to shore up weaknesses in Java. What does it do that Rust doesn't do? Because Google, was it Google? Yeah, Google created Dart, right?
Oh, so it's a. This is a.
And Dart's used in Flutter.
Yeah, this is a superset language, is what it looks like. Um, well, oh yeah, it is.
I really don't like the name. We're dealing with climate change, and it's becoming increasingly more obvious. And the first thing that they want to do to distract from it is name their language Carbon.
So it's kind of
Okay.
like, so the way they're describing it is like TypeScript to JavaScript, Kotlin to Java, and Carbon to C++. So it's like a superset, or like a compiles down to type language.
A transpiler.
Yeah,
Because they also had well, no, Google did. What was the organization behind Go? Was that not Google too?
yeah.
And so Go was intended for systems programming, but this is like some type of transpiler language analogous to like TypeScript, which I don't see that in here on the article that I'm reading.
Hmm. Well, that's kind of what they're billing it as, but it's so if you go to carbon laying on GitHub, that's kind of what they're billing it as a little bit, but it's
It still has braces and semicolons.
yeah, it's C based, right? Bidirectional interoperability with C++. So it's like, yeah, it's built to run C++, like on compile into, so that you can use any of your existing C++ libraries, but also use this.
I don't see a reduction in code with the code snippets that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the C++ code snippet, then I'm looking at the Carbon code snippet. It's the same lines of code.
Yeah, I think it's more the structure of it, and yeah.
So Epic Blog says they're tired of C++ evolving too slow, so they are making a new version. It borrows a bunch of ideas from Rust, but has a massive focus on C++ interop, which Rust doesn't do very well. Um, that's not an optimal name choice. Oh yeah, I don't like Carbon, man. That's not helpful for what we need to achieve for humanity.
I'll leave that alone. Yeah, carbon. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to get towards a different metaphor, like carbon fiber. Strong and lightweight. Who knows?
Then they should have called it C fiber.
It's actually not carbon. It's C Arbin, and Arbin was the name of the creator. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. They couldn't have just put another plus sign at the end. C plus plus plus.
All right. So, are you going to commit to the 7 mile run within the next 24 months?
So 2 years, within 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's in let's see. Yeah, yeah, I got to figure out whether I could even do it next year, but because it looks like it happens in April.
Mm.
So, but let's see. So I'm 37. I'll be 38 next year. 30. Yeah, why not? It looks like a good run.
Yeah, you could collect a medallion. I don't know what that medallion is going to look like, but it'll probably be cool.
Race day details. I'll give you a long time to get your knee in rehab. Go get some surgery or something. Go through rehab on it.
Yeah, the pavement or asphalt is brutal when I try to run on it. Oh my god.
Have you looked at much at shoes? Like actually gone and like
No.
looked at, because shoes can have a major impact on all of that. Like
I,
I didn't
I,
realize it until I switched to my current shoes.
so I bought some $250 Nike shoes like 3 years ago, and I still haven't worn them.
Oh,
Because those shoes are designed for track day, and I still haven't worn them.
gotcha. Yeah, the
Or
so
should I
like
say marathons, and I haven't worn them.
yeah, and if you have like, well, you got to break them in before you run a marathon on them. But if you didn't like have somebody like, and I didn't have somebody help me get the shoes, but I wish I did, or wish I would have at least my first time, before I like try to educate myself and conjecture on what I needed. But like if you have like people's feet, there are people who have feet like that. There are people who have feet like that, and there are people that have feet like that, basically. And depending on what you are, if you get the wrong kind of support in your shoes, um, you can basically screw up everything all the way up your knees, your everything. So like my shoes that I had before that I was running on, I would always get a blister in the front of my foot on the right side
Yeah,
behind
me
my
too.
pad. Always. I switched to my new shoes. Now I get a blister still, but it's on the back of my foot where my yeah, just on the back of my foot, on the side. And the reason is that so I was told this when I was a kid, so I'm assuming it's safe, and that's what the thing I was doing was that I had flattish feet, or there's a term for it. And when I land, basically, like my I kind of like my front comes in, which then causes it to rub against the shoe, and I do most of my pushing off on my big toe rather than the pad of my foot. So by switching to these one shoes, basically there's more like support in the back to kind of push your foot out,
Mm.
so that when you land on the pad of your actual like across, so it's totally horizontal on your or parallel to the ground on the front of your foot. So I haven't had a blister at all with just by changing the shoes. I have not had a blister at all in that position. I do have it in the back now because I'm landing on that spot a lot and it's pushing me out. Um, but I was having some like knee issues with my other shoes and just like everything was starting to hurt. That's all just gone now. Like I occasionally still get a little bit of a knee pain on this side, but
Yeah, my options are limited because I wear a size 16. It goes back between 15 and 16. And Nike, it's a 16. For the rest of the manufacturers, it's a 15. But I don't really have options to buy the shoe that can really accommodate me. It's the same thing with clothes. Like, look how ugly my shirt is. I don't have options, right? So,
they've gotta have like you could probably special order them though.
well, I told you I bought $250 Nike running shoes that I haven't worn, and it's been like 3 years since I've had them.
Yeah, gosh. So the ones that I have are eight now are A6 Kayano for the shoes that I bought now. Um, want to see what size they come in.
I haven't
Maybe,
visited
but
Twitch in a long time. Hold up. Twitch, or why did I say Twitch? Um, Epic Blog. You still visit Togglebit's Twitch room or whatever? I haven't been on Twitch in probably like 4 months. Why is my screen flashing? Yeah, I think I got spyware on my machine, man. And this is my business machine. I don't even go to any suspect sites on here. I gotta figure this out.
yeah, it happens. Did I tell you so like my first gig after my original like job, my first job out of college, the next one that I had, day one, I was installing software and I'm like, I gotta install PDF reader, and I googled it and I clicked the first flipping link and I download, and it was like the wrong link. So I had to spent like half my first day trying to get that shit off my computer.
Oh,
It's like crap. I didn't tell anyone. I just went and like, ran through all of this, like got malware bites and downloaded that and cleared it off and deleted all of the things. And eventually I got in a better state, but I was so embarrassed. So like, gosh, just guy doesn't even know how to be pay attention.
yeah. That happens. That happens
Got
to me.
fooled.
I accidentally clicked the link that so like some companies they purposely run a phishing program to see if their employees click it or not, and I accidentally clicked it because it looked like a MS Teams um, email about a message I missed,
Hmm.
and as soon as I clicked it, I immediately found out that I wasn't supposed to, and I'm sure it bubbled up probably to my manager.
Hmm. Yeah. So you had to click the this looks like a phishing one. You
Yeah,
should just click that on every single one, and then like I just do it just in case.
I I usually do. But when I say this looked exactly, the presentation matched extremely close to the 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 emails that you get when you miss MS Teams like
Yeah.
mention. It
Yep.
looked just like it.
Yeah. Well, that's the point, right? I suppose. Did you pay attention to the return URL and all that?
No, I didn't. And then I looked at it,
And you're
the
like,
the from,
oh,
and I'm like, oh crap! And my life paused for
now
like
I've got to go to
60 seconds.
sensitivity training about phishing emails.
Uh,
Yeah. So what am I gonna build? I gotta build something new. I gotta get started now. If the honeymoon phase is over, I've got about a half-life of another 3 or 4 years before I'm like, fuck
oh, let
this.
me tell you about beach delivery. The awesome thing about investing in that project is it's like 90% done, and like it just needs to get over the finish line. And then the next chapter of marketing and how do you like basically get people to download it, and how do you manage the transactions with actual couriers? How do you recruit couriers? Like that's the fun. It's
What?
just
No,
I've
it's
used this.
not. The fun's building, just doing the domain design and
I'm
building it.
trying to convince you to help me with this project, but
I just need to do a pure software project. Nothing now. I don't know. So the problem is I don't have enough problems. I don't like see the problems people have in other industries. Or if it is, it's all like really well solved problems.
there's problems with the hiring process. People still think I'm out of my mind, which partially I am. When I have the audacity to say that, you know what, I think I can only take candidates for an interview seriously if I Google their name and there's some professional web footprint.
Yeah,
Like
whatever happened
you
to
should have that expectation. Like, not everybody's like you. I'm like, there should at least be a Stack Overflow profile. There doesn't have to be a GitHub account, but there should at least be a Stack Overflow profile so that I could examine the things that he does. Right? Like, there should be some type of artifact, historical artifact about this person. If he spends a third of his life doing this, or she, there should be some type of web footprint that like substantiates that. People think I'm like asking for too much, and I honestly don't think I am. If I'm looking for a plumber, I expect that plumber to have like a website. It could be a Facebook account. I don't care, but there should be something that backs that he invested in his profession, or I keep saying he or she has invested in their profession. And
Yeah, I don't
people
know
think
though.
that,
Like, but
yeah,
if you like, you don't have that necessarily. Like accountants, you are not going to find that. Electrical engineers, you're not going to find that.
I
You're not going
will
to find
find
everything.
that. They're just the outliers. They're the people that have a YouTube channel for guidance. They're the people that on repeatedly provide articles on LinkedIn about related to accounting. Those people are out there. They're outliers. Those are the people that we probably should gravitate towards because we know that they're invested and they care about what they do.
Yeah, but they're also highly independent and don't necessarily need or want an organization to work for.
If they're applying for the job,
Yeah, yeah, true. But that's probably very few people.
I agree, but don't
Like
we
you
want
just
the
you run
outliers?
out of candidates though. No, I mean you want. I don't know that maybe, but in some positions you don't want outliers. You want sturdy people that are you know
Does
that are
Google hire?
stable.
Does Google face? Do all the FANG companies? Do, are they more likely to hire outliers than
I think it
average
depends.
people?
They probably look at building teams around like competing personalities, not competing personalities, but supporting personalities. Or so like something I've realized is if you have a team with two people on it that are drivers, like driver personality types, like
Uh,
it's like they're going to be at each other's throats half the time. But if
oh,
you
I
put
know.
one You put one person on the team who's a driver, and then you have a bunch of people who are you know, you don't have a bunch, but you have people who are analytical
Support.
about things to kind of offset some of that, and then you've got somebody who can empathize better with it. Like you start to mix, if you start to mix people that have different skill sets and traits together, you don't need everybody to be the outlier or the like 10x developer type person. If you can put together a cohesive team around certain principles.
That's a
So
fair point. You're right, because I'm dealing with that now. There's like 5 drivers on
why
the.
do we have like two, like we never have this many people watching, so that's gonna Mr. Blood count. Before.
There's 3. You're like, we never
Yeah,
had this. Man, this is a
I'm
surge.
used to it being like nobody. Where's not nobody. I'm used to it to being the
You
one
call it
guy.
gambler, nobody.
Gambler, just gambler.
A lot of people on Google, the big 4, have books, YouTube channels, etc. But that is probably because being the ex Google, ex Facebook tech lead sells regardless of quality of the message. I agree. I think people are fascinated with just who you're affiliated with. If I say I'm affiliated with the Lambda cartel, then people are going to maybe express interest.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Whatever happened to gosh, what was that thing you
The
were
Lambda
calling it?
cartel,
Not the Lambda Cartel, but the product you guys were working on.
Nikeza.
Nikeza, yeah. Whatever happened to that? You guys just dump it totally?
No, they dumped it totally. They were rah rah rah. Let's do it. Everything in the open, showcasing F sharp in the open, and after 3 weeks they lost interest.
Nikeza. Streamline all links, articles, videos, podcasts, answer questions from content writer. Yeah, that's right. The sales pitch for that was you want to make yourself undeniable. This conversation had me thinking about that because I think that was part of what you're trying to do with this, right? Was to make
Yeah,
a place where you could get that easy.
resumes are a horrible way of observing if someone is a candidate for your organization. Like just because they type it and they game the system of algorithms like that, we still haven't fixed it yet. So that was my attempt of.
Yeah, but you can game and fix social media and stuff too to like, you know, I don't know, to make you look better than you are.
That requires investment and social proof. I would argue.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of. I think it's more challenging to game social proof. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
Mr. Blood Count. That sounds like a serial killer or a RN.
Yeah, Mr.
What do you think about public screencasts? They may help, but would they hurt when you stream your programmer block or debugging a silly mistake? Um, I actually think that like recording the desktop, you don't have to record their face, but I think just recording the discussion, I think is very helpful. Now, where I work at, I record all my meetings because I want to hold people accountable when they try to say, no, no, we didn't say that. No, we did say that. It's on this video that was recorded on this day of this month. But yeah, uh, I think so. Because then you can pass it around to people, and then they can make a better informed decision on if someone um, is likely to be able to hold their own if they get hired.
Hmm.
There's some apps for that.
Yeah, there's apps to catalog it. I'm just wondering if it like
I disagree with hacker ranks and those stupid I won't call them stupid. I just disagree with them. I don't want to
Uh,
take your test.
I think it's
Look,
good for a certain but it's good for certain kind of. It's a good screener for some things, depending on how the test is structured and what the job is. It's
well,
not
this
good if you're like, hey, solve this extremely obscure programming problem that shows you're clever or something like that. That's kind
yeah,
of odd. But
because
if your
they're
job is not to do that, then whatever, you know.
that's my point. Like a lot of those questions, they're computer science writing algorithms,
Yeah.
and they're not like business application development examples.
Yeah, the best one I had, I did a hacker rank one. I think it was a hacker rank one. It might have been something for a company. I think it was DraftKings, and they actually had like write an API to do this. Like it was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, yeah, this is something that I would probably be doing on the actual job, and it's clearly that I know, basically how to put one of these together. Okay, easy peasy, boom, boom, boom. Like that was good. But if you're looking for somebody who fits who you want to do specific, very highly skilled algorithm work, yeah, I mean, makes sense. You should be able to pick up some of these things pretty easily.
Well, you should just be able to have them share their GitHub and have them walk you through what they were thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, they already demonstrated that this is something that they care about. So let them talk about something that they know intimately, and then ask questions about, well, what if these requirements change? How would you address that?
Yeah,
I just don't like those tests, man.
you're mistaking screening for like screening for actual interviewing though. Screening is a totally different thing.
Okay, well, for what did you call it? Fractional interviewing.
It's like a no screening. Like when like there's always screening that comes before you even get to an interview, right?
So if you're going to ask someone to take a test, then you should pay them for their time.
Okay, so like you don't pay somebody to build you a resume for you, right? And that's a screening tool, right?
No, no, no.
Taking a test is like a screening tool. It's like do they have at least a baseline competency?
You're asking them to take likely more than 1 hour of their personal time or family time to do something for you because you don't want to. No, you're shaking your head.
It's not,
Okay.
but it's not for me. It's like you want this job. Here's our path to get in. You have
No,
to
no, no,
do this.
no. And that's where I disagree because believe me, I've been through this before. We're like, hey, they want you to take their test. I'm like, I'm not taking their test. Tell them to look at my GitHub. Tell them to look at bizmonger.wordpress.com. Right? Like, start with what I've already created, and let's start with that. No, they don't want to do that. Their process or their policy is you have to take their test. I'm like, F their test.
Yeah.
Like that's my issue. Like, there's people out there that produce tutorials, they produce blogs, they maintain like code bases on GitHub, and companies don't want to look at that at all. They just want to treat those people as no, no, you need to take our test. We're not interested in everything you've done before then. Like,
No, no, no,
I
no.
just disagree with that.
But that's they are interested in that, but only if you get past the screening process, right?
And the answer
That
is no, because those
you have.
people that do that are usually outliers. And the companies, the HR or the people that are disconnected from engineering and the values that they should really be seeking, like they don't know any better. They're
Yeah, but
following a process that's
yeah,
not helpful.
as soon as you like make it that's the most important thing, though, it's easy to fake it. Um,
The paradox is people that are extremely talented that do that do or perform these type of outlier activities, they're not going to jump through hoops for a company that's not Fang. They're not.
well, then don't
That's a waste of their time.
and don't complain about it. Then if the company wants to do that, just let them do that.
I do. I'm
Yeah,
saying that it's broke. I
yeah.
don't take
I don't
tests.
think it's broke. I think it's perfectly acceptable to say, look, we get 10,000 people applying all the time, and we want to make sure that we don't want to go through everyone, but we don't want to just look at resumes either because that's stupid.
If it's an organization that I respect, that's known for being a high performer, then I would strongly consider that. But if it's not or if it's an organization that I've never heard of, they are not on the radar. They don't. You have to Google them, and you still don't know what they're if they're good or not. I'm not going to audition for them. It's like auditioning for uh like the Iceland Football League. Like what? Like why would I audition for you guys? I never even heard of you. That's my point.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's not it's screening. It's all it is.
Look, I'm Scott Nimrod, and this is organization XYZ. I never heard of you. Like, I'm not going to jump. I'm not going to take your test. If you're not going to invest in what I've already put out there professionally, that you can just Google, and you're not going to invest in that, and then ask questions, then I'm not going to invest in your tests. I'm not. I have not heard of you, right? You're a
Yeah.
nobody. I'm not going to take your test.
You know what the backwards thing is too? Is that you can get into a contracting firm pretty easily, actually. And then the contract firms, like they don't have any of that, generally don't have any of that screening process with companies that they contract with. So it's like if you want a backwards way to get into a company, that's it's pretty easy to do. Oh, we landed this contract. You're in it now. Great. Thank you.
The maintainer of Homebrew got rejected by Google because of his algorithm interview, which is hilarious. What is Homebrew? What is Homebrew? Is that curl stuff that I keep running into? And it was the same thing with I remember listening to Scott. What's his name? Who's the
Package
Microsoft?
manager, apparently for Mac.
I remember listening to a Scott Hanselman interview with the creator of what was the JavaScript framework from like 10 years ago that was the JavaScript framework.
Which
Um,
one? Knockout or no? Like
no. It was the JavaScript
jQuery?
framework. jQuery.
Yeah.
I remember listening to a Scott Hanselman podcast on the author of jQuery, and similar to Mr. Bloodcount's comment about the maintainer of Homebrew, the creator of jQuery was turned down by Yahoo when he interviewed with them.
Yeah. It's funny. I see that every once in a while on Twitter, like somebody who's like they asked for, X many years of experience, but they denied the person who created it. It's like we need somebody with 5 years of experience within this thing, and it's like, yeah, but you denied my application and I created that 3 years ago. Like I don't know. I've seen like 2 or 3 examples of that pop up on Twitter now and then.
Well, I'm so looking forward to interviewing candidates that are upcoming. Like I'll hold them to the fire. Like
Hmm.
I enjoy it. It's kind of like sadistic the way I enjoy interviewing people.
Maybe you should be in HR then. You might like HR more than programming. HR, you get to basically
Someone had a huge
crap
power
on
trip
people's
that
lives.
day. Mr. Bloodcount, where are you from? Where are you operating at? I bet you he's going to say like some European country.
Transylvania.
He's going to say Romania. Ha, get it, Mr. Bloodcount, Dracula.
Yeah, that's why I said Transylvania. Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, north of Greece. Oh, you don't think we know where Bulgaria is? No, I don't know where Bulgaria is.
I couldn't point it out on a map. I mean, I've heard of Bulgaria, and I probably know about where the region is, but
Oh, you mean Bolivia?
no.
I met someone from Bolivia a couple weeks ago.
It's a Balkan country, of course. Yeah, there it is.
Assuming I don't know where a lot of the states are.
Right below Romania. Ha!
The only states you should care about: New York, Florida, Texas, and California. All the other states don't matter. They should really just be demoted to territories.
Oh, what the heck, man.
It's true.
No.
In the news, you hear about again New
Hey,
York, Florida, California, and Texas. Those are the
not true.
headlines.
Not true. There was big news recently about a Taco Bell in Minnesota that has a drive-through, like, and it's all sits on top of, and you operate through these like bank tubes. Plus, George Floyd thing happened here.
That was local news.
George Floyd was?
No, not George Floyd, but your
No,
Taco
the
Bell.
Taco Bell thing was national news.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
why
actually, who was
I'm
it?
not. I'm just not hearing about it from you. Okay.
Sunny Delight got chewed out by. So Taco Bell had this on Twitter, and Sunny Delight, the company, responded to it like, "Wow, that's amazing, but why in Minnesota?" or something like that, or "What's it doing in Minnesota?" And and then Minnesota people went ape on Sunny Delight. It was such a weird, like, it was just weird.
I remember when I was a kid, um, there was a rumor that KKK creates Snapple. Have you ever heard that before? And
Birds
as a
aren't real.
kid, I'm like, how's that possible? And the only thing I can imagine is a factory where a whole bunch of people are wearing KKK costumes and like manufacturing Snapple, and I just couldn't understand like how that would make sense.
Like they're in hooded like clean suits
Yeah,
or something.
like
Yeah.
that's the only thing I could think of. It's like, but why is it that deep? I don't why would they dress up in their costumes to manufacture Snapple? Like, I don't know. I bet you I could Google it and you could probably see like some articles on it.
Hmm. Snapple. Birds aren't real.
They probably don't even know what KKK is outside of well, people in Europe.
The KKK. Hmm. I don't know, man. A lot of people know about Chicago though. It's in the middle of.
Chicago. Obama had an opportunity to step in, especially because he was born in Hawaii, but I thought his roots were in Illinois. Like you know what? Like
Mhm.
it's just hilarious that a lot of black people voted for him because he was black. He did nothing for them. I think that's hilarious. So
Yeah.
he was like, black people, you're not on the agenda, but the LGBTQ, whatever other letters appended onto it, that's going to be my highest priority. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird, and but that's just all the way that media projects people and stuff like that. I think like Trump did a bunch of stuff too that was
yeah,
advantageous for
and it
like,
didn't really get covered as much. The
yeah,
first
because
president to what he was the first president to allocate or to secure like funding for historical black colleges.
yeah, I think that sounds
Probably the
familiar.
last president.
Tim, so was it because is it Tim Scott? I think was the senator from one of the Carolinas or something like that. The opportunity zones things and all of that stuff. But man, you forget all that stuff. It's supposedly he said drink bleach, which he didn't. And yeah, man, this is funny. The way that the Google Maps lays out the world, it's aligned in the same way that the like I don't think the sizes are correct because it makes Minnesota look huge compared to Florida.
We had a discussion about this a couple months ago when we were talking about Greenland, I think,
Yeah,
and how it doesn't really scale with reality.
yeah, because it's like it's warped. Yeah, it's the way that the maps are structured. But I suppose there's really no way to lay it out on a 2D map otherwise. You'd have to go to 3D or whatever to get the actual sizes correct. But I don't know. I was looking at Bulgaria. Like, oh yeah, Bulgaria is probably a pretty nice place to visit.
What are the Bulgarian women like? Assuming that Mr. Bloodhound is a male.
He's like, oh, that's my cue. I gotta get out of here. I don't know. Where's the
See you
historical?
later. Bye, Mr. Bloodhound.
Where's the historical city of Troy in Turkey? I assume it's in Turkey.
So what are you going to do with your now that your honeymoon phase is over and you're interested in you should return back to your workbench project.
No, I got a whole another project I got to work on. This camper I'm reworking or rebuilding. So refurbishing, renovating, whatever you'd call it. But maybe one day I'll get back to that. I just don't see that there's a business in it anymore. So actually, the thing I was originally working on, oh gosh, actually no, it was the table, wasn't it? I was working on that, but I was working on a long before that was the before my brother-in-law died. I was working on a thing to print video game cases for indie developers.
Yeah, I remember that. That was at the very beginning of our mastermind
Yeah,
recordings.
yeah. So, but
And then you realized that there wasn't that much of a market for it.
actually, I never really tested the market. I just couldn't. Actually, it's still not a bad idea. I think it's just a matter of getting over the hump of believing that there's probably a way to streamline it where it can be profitable. So it's like you got to do things that are unprofitable first. But so I just don't think people would pay like, you know, 20. Well, like to be really profitable with the time and stuff, you'd probably have to charge like 30-40 bucks to have it made. And then I worry about like people being like, oh, the quality of this is shit. So
Well,
plus,
it probably will be starting off.
yeah, I think you do need to like build out a set of tools though too, um, software tools to help people actually like design these things to make it easier. Because like you have to literally, if you want to do this, you kind of need to know graphic design software to be able to like design a box and stuff like that. It's not something that's like it's not easy for people to do. Like here's a template and you have to match the template and put your stuff within these shapes, and you have to know how to do overlays to know that you made everything right, and think about bleeding and like how much you need to bleed off into the edges of your colors so that the seams don't have like there's actually a lot to making a good box. And if you look at a company like the Game Crafter who does this for board games, where they could do like a print, like you design your own components and they print it for you. So it's like a manufacturing stuff. Like that's like what they give you is you got templates and you have to know how to use the software to produce it. But if you could actually make software to actually build that out and do like publishing around like a very focused publishing tool around creating manuals and things within the shapes and sizes you offer, I think that you could probably get people to use it, but I don't know.
I can tell you put a lot of thought into this.
Yeah, yeah. Biggest thing is like transferring mediums though. It's like there's not a very cheap option to just put a software on if you wanted to have a box version of it. Like you can't fit games on 3.5-inch floppies anymore. You can't like you could put them on a CD, but then they're kind of like you'd have to make the big box style, which requires a bigger
Put it on
printer.
a zip drive.
I mean, a DVD, I suppose. Actually,
A
even
zip
DVDs
drive.
sometimes.
Remember zip drives?
Yep. Yeah. You mean the big?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were cartridges.
Yeah. Well, I had landed on, and I bought a bunch actually. I had landed on. I wonder if I even have. 1 second. Let's see if I've got something here. I landed on. These are going to be my first ones. A bunch of these. I bought these like 16 gigabyte things. So I was going to have it so you could put your label right on there too. And then
your game would be on this within this case, and then this would be within your larger box with your other stuff.
That has a USB input on it, right?
No, not these ones. These ones you need a specific card reader, but they're universal enough where, because people have cameras or had cameras, now everyone uses their phone, but yeah, still, like, these are, it's easy enough to get a reader for these. So, and I had all sorts of ideas in mind, like, well, then I could make like a specific like branded reader or something like that looks like a little game console that you could shove your card in. That's just basically a reader for that. So,
Well, you got
I was
an
thinking
Android or
about
iPhone?
add-ons. Android.
Me too. I'm not sure if I need to upgrade or not.
What are you running?
I got a. This is a Samsung Edge 11, 10. I don't know. I don't even know how to find out. Hold up.
I have an S21 Ultra, I think is what I have.
I honestly don't know how to even pull up the about. Well, it would be on settings, right? Hold up. Where's three icons on here? Hold up. Settings. Where's about phone? I have a Galaxy
Model.
S9.
Oh yeah, you're old.
Galaxy
I had one of
S9
those.
Plus.
I had one of those. I like that phone though. It's nice and small.
Well, before you put on the case.
Yeah. Well, the case I had was very low profile. I'm a fan of now this Spigen, SPIGEN. They make pretty small, slim cases.
Let me look it up on Actually, I don't know why I put my phone down. I could look it up on Amazon on my phone. Hold up.
Yeah, but you could probably it might be time to upgrade. I don't know. Like I said, I got this S21 Ultra, which is probably why it's so big. My wife got an S22, and it's smaller, like considerably smaller. I think this one had really good battery life though because of that. It's like big. I don't know.
Spygen. Every time I hit space, it changes the name.
Like the case I
Spygen.
had for that one was I mean it definitely makes the phone bigger, but I've had phones where the cases are really bulky and they're like huge. These ones are like they conform really well to them, so it doesn't add much bulk to it. And I've had it drop too, and I don't have a screen protector and never had problems with it.
It's $13. I don't know if this is low profile. How do you know if it's low profile? Or you don't?
I think maybe this is the one that I got. Hold on, I had. Yeah, I want to say that this is the one that I had. Here, I'll shoot it. I'll shoot you a link here. I'm gonna send you my my affiliate link. I haven't used that in forever. Nah, I won't. They make it so hard to find the share button on Amazon. Share. Gosh, I'm just gonna. I'll just grab it up here. Get text link. I dropped that link in there. That is an affiliated link. I couldn't find the actual share button. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, that one that I had that I linked there, like that one was awesome. Like super thin,
Yeah, that's
low
what I put up
profile.
on my phone.
Yeah. This one I have now from them has this like little thing in the back that pops out, so it makes it a little bit bigger, but it's still like, I don't know, it still doesn't add a lot to the phone in terms of bulk and such. I wonder if I can compare the two.
Okay.
Oh crap. See, it's these things, these like armor whatever that are crappy. They put these big like sturdy over molded, whatever. But I don't know.
This one is pretty big, man. Like
How's that comparatively? When you add in the
that's for the
probably
same phone.
what?
That's for the same phone.
Yeah, this is my phone right now. So this is the case, and this is the
Oh, okay,
actual phone.
okay, yeah.
The other one that I had, that one was thinner yet than this one.
This
Is
one I could kill a small animal with.
yeah, yeah, it's like what my wife said. But I don't know. These ones I'd give them 5 out of 5 on, especially on that one. Like super slim comparatively, and that's what I don't like about phone cases, though. It's like, hey, turn your nice, slim, beautiful phone that they gave you into a brick.
Yeah, like I have a slot.
Thanks.
So I told you I bought a new motorcycle, right? So my new
Yeah.
motorcycle has like a container where you can slide in a phone. But the case is so big I can't slide my phone into it. And it has a charger inside of it, right? So
Yeah. The motorcycle has that?
yeah,
Oh,
dude, this motorcycle costs as much as a house. It has
no.
everything.
I looked it up. They're like 30 grand. Are they for
A house in Detroit. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. I was just say,
Yeah.
have you seen the real estate prices lately, man? That's not a house. But yeah, no, see that on my car that we just got my wife, it has one of those where you can slide that in and it just slides right in there. So, and
Yeah.
it's worked with most of the set on chargers without having to take it out of the case. That's another thing. The wireless chargers, that case
Yeah.
was freaking, it worked perfectly. So every time. 30% of the time, it worked 100% of the time.
Oh, look, it's been real.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. Uh,
Working on beach delivery. You're bringing it up, getting it
I
ready to hand off.
I could almost promise you, as soon as my contract gets terminated, I'll probably go full throttle for a couple months on beach delivery, and hopefully that's all I need to get it out the door. But I don't want to look at a computer
Hmm.
on the weekends and the evenings. I don't want to look at a computer. I
Yep.
don't. I don't. I check my email once. I check my personal email once a week. Like I don't want to look at a computer. And this stuff
Yeah.
is not. It's not on my phone. Like I just.
You're
I work in
you're ge-
technology, and I don't want to deal with computers.
you're getting like all the other people who don't have GitHub and Stack Overflow accounts.
Yeah, but
Because
so
they
so
don't want
my
to look at a computer when they're done with work.
yeah, but the majority of people, the majority of applicants, I would argue, are people that probably have less than 5 years of experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Fair
so
enough.
those are the people that should demonstrate the most hunger.
Yeah, yeah. Especially anybody in their 20s, if they're not locked down, probably should have something out there that they've done. Even if it's just like a website with like, I'd worked on a algorithm. Okay. Alrighty. Well, you
Yeah.
have a good week.
Yeah, it's good catching up. Let me know when you want to commit to the 7 mile run so I can start training. And we'll catch up.
Yeah. Alrighty. See
See
ya.
ya. Bye. And whoever's observing, see you later. Bye.